Exclamation, everybody, and welcome to another channel update. This one for December 2018. We're ending off the year on a high-ish note, I would say. The game in, or over my shoulder, I should say, is Minion Masters, something I've been enjoying quite a bit of. So hopefully pleased that you will enjoy what I've done here. Actually had a fairly decent run here where I got mostly wins for a change, including one run at the end that you may or may not see depending on how much I ramble, that I might do just a highlight video on in and of itself, because it was a it was a nail biter, to say the least. But anyway, for those of you new to the channel, each month, whenever I can, I try to at least pull back the curtain and talk shop and talk, you know, what's going on. It's kind of, I guess kind of it's a vlog thing, although instead of me talking about, I try to keep it on topic, which is basically games, video games and whatnot. I'm not, you know, talking about cars and driving around and other things that you would expect from a typical vlog thing. But anyway, let's get into it. And first off, we'll start with the statistics, some raw statistics about all the things I'm doing. First off, we'll start with YouTube. The total views, total channel views, went from 163,030 last month to 165,497, so still continuing our upward trend there. It went from 498 subscribers to 503. We finally hit 500 subscribers, like 6 years into the channel, or whatever it is. It feels like 6 years into the channel. It might be. No, it's 5 right now. Yeah, we're definitely 5. It'll be 6 next year. So that's cool. You know, it hit 5. We were hovering at like 498, 499. It hit 500, and I was like, okay, let me just let this sit for a little bit and see what happens. And then it went 501, 502, and now just recently 503 yesterday. So I'm trying to fix my hair here. I don't know what's going on with that. It's just weird. So that's cool. That's very cool. I think we're on solid ground there for that. Minutes watched over the last I think it's 28 days they do, is last month it was 7,195. This month 6,635. And total videos went from 2,747 total videos on the channel to 2,772. So still continuing forward with roughly 30 almost per month, roughly speaking. It's slowed down significantly since I've been going a lot slower with the Let's Plays, and I'll talk about the Let's Plays and stuff as we go here. Over on DTube, we don't have statistics from last month, but starting this month, I've got statistics. I've got 11 subscribers over on DTube and a rep score of 33. I'm getting lots of upvotes and things, so that's kind of cool. All that stuff is good. Reputation basically is a measure of how often you'll get sort of on the front page kind of thing. It's based on votes and upvotes and all that stuff, so having that go up is pretty good. I think you start out at 30, and then I've moved up to 33, so getting some visibility over there, which is nice. Then over on to the streaming services, we got Mixer. I last month had 57 followers. This month we got 58. I didn't track this. I'm going to start tracking total views over there now. So we're at 653 total channel views over on Mixer. And then Caffeine, the only statistic I really have there is followers. So we had 101 followers last month. We're up to 109 this month. So that's continuing to expand. When I tweet out that I'm live, I've been tweeting out some like retweeters and stuff like that. So that's been increasing the visibility here and there. Nothing too crazy just yet. And then total time that I've streamed this month is 35 hours thus far. So I'm just going to do that on a monthly basis. I was trying to match it up with, previously match it up with, you know, when I last did my channel update, but I'm just going to do it on a monthly basis right now. So for this month so far, 35 hours. I put quite a few streams in this week where I was streaming earlier and then also streaming later at the normal time. That has helped a little bit. You know, it is what it is. It's been still very largely a very quiet, very quiet realm. I have something I'm looking at. First of all, there's a couple things going on with the streaming stuff. As far as technology is concerned. First of all, Caffeine is starting to roll out a couple things. Finally, they've finally broken some of their silence anyway. One is that they're actually working on a plugin for OBS, which is about damn time. They have a version of OBS right now that will stream to Caffeine, but it doesn't give you, as far as I can tell, it doesn't give you the chat, which is half the battle. And they do have an Android app finally. So I was like, well, okay, if they're going to have OBS, then I can at least use the Android app to look at the chat. But apparently, I can't even see my own stream on the Android app, so I don't know what's going on with that yet. That's still very early stages of development. So I have to give them some leeway on that. Hopefully, at some point, if they figure out what they're going to do with the chat, because I would keep a browser open, but the chat in the browser has always been terrible on Caffeine. I don't know why they ever did it the way they did, but basically, I mean, even in the Caffeine app, there's no timestamps, which just seems like a no-brainer that should have been in there from day one, but they don't have it in there. And for added pleasure on their web pages, if you watch the chat on the web pages, it just randomly pops chat around from left to right. So trying to figure out who said what and when and how long ago they said it is just amazingly difficult, unless you're running the Caffeine app, the PC app, to do the recording through. So I'm going to keep doing that until I can figure out what they're going to do with the chat over there. And then we'll just, once that is handled, my camera's freaking out for some reason. I apologize. Once that is handled, then I'll start to look at using just OBS for it, because the Caffeine app, running the Caffeine app and OBS at the same time is rough on my old computer. I still have to upgrade the old computer. I still have the a little bit better processor I need to pop in there. I just haven't had the wherewithal to actually sit down and do it. It's one of those things. I'm just procrastinating on it. But I probably should do that soon, and that might help a little bit. It's really just a matter of trying to figure out. Really, I just want, if I can just do 2 instances of OBS, that works really well. The Caffeine app is just a very big performance hog for some reason. I don't know why it is. It just is. So if they get that figured out, then that will work out really well. In fact, that'll work out swimmingly for me, because then I can do 2 instances of OBS and have one that actually goes through Restream potentially. Restream has been working on for a while now. They have it in beta. The ability to stream to Mixer FTL. It's the only reason why I haven't been using Restream lately. Is I just want to, if I'm going to stream to Mixer, I want to use Mixer FTL, because that's the sub-second chat and all that stuff. There's very little delay and all that stuff on it. And it looks like and Mixer has made some fixes to their regular streaming, the non-FTL stuff, where it's a little bit more performant now too. So it's not like it's the end of the world, but I would like to try to do it with FTL. So I'm waiting for Restream to kind of roll that out. And when they do, I have there's another streaming service that I'm looking at called DLive. Similar to DTube, but it's just for live streaming. There is a live streaming function on DTube as well, but I kind of was looking at DLive because it's got the same whole blockchain thing, but also it's just sort of set up in a way that makes it interesting, in a way that things are visible better. You know, it's kind of the whole, do you want to see your live stream on YouTube, or do you want to see your live stream on a service that is dedicated to live streams, kind of thing. So I be looking at DLive. I haven't done anything over there yet. I'm hoping that you know, this Mixer FTL stuff on Restream goes through sooner rather than later, and in which case then I can restream both to Mixer and to this DLive place, and that will work out pretty well then. So I can kind of cross pollinate a little bit easier for me, and then you know, if Caffeine gets their act together, we can start using OBS exclusively, and then I can still see chat and all that stuff. That'll really work out well if all these ducks line up. I hope. So I am still, you know, if I get back to doing Restream stuff, will I stream to Twitch? I don't know. Possibly. I have to really look at it first. The nice thing about Restream is I've got the Restream chat app works really well. That would be a game changer if you know, Caffeine and I don't know if DLive does it. They probably don't, but you know, if Caffeine and all these guys could get their chat things figured out, then I could just use the Restream chat rather than, you know, but they need to publish an API or something, because I've been even trying to write a bot to see if I could get the chat into, you know, Restream chat, because then I could just do it that way, but they don't have. They had at one point in time published an API, and then they unpublished it, so I'm assuming that if I try anything, they're going to be very upset. Because it looks like it's just a regular, you know, RESTful service that you can hit up, but I'm not going to do it if they don't have a published API, because then that means they don't have the traffic, you know, stuff figured out, and they really don't want people consuming it yet, so I don't want to burn any bridges. Let's put it that way. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if they do something in that regard before I can really get into that any further. And maybe now if they're doing a plugin for OBS, maybe, you know, people have been asking for Streamlabs OBS as well. So maybe they'll actually integrate with Streamlabs, and then maybe that'll be the kick in the pants I need to actually move over from vanilla OBS to Streamlabs OBS, I guess. Maybe, possibly. It's stranger things have happened, but if they do integrate with that better, then, you know, maybe I will. So we'll see how all those things flesh out. Hopefully exciting things to talk about in the next year. My camera's really having a lot of problems for some reason. I don't know. Oh, I think I know why. The video that you're seeing of Minion Masters, I'm streaming over the network at the same time I'm streaming the camera, so that's probably what it's doing it. That's probably the thing. Anywho, yeah, in case you're wondering, it is a USB camera, but I have a USB host. I found out that they have USB servers. So you can plug USB devices into a server and then have it actually transmit over the local network. So I can share, oops, sorry, I hit the mic there. Share, quote unquote. I can share, quote unquote, devices. So between my two computers, so it makes my life so much easier. I don't have to unplug and replug things in. I can just say, all right, you now are connected to this computer as opposed to the other one. Saved me time and energy. Lots of time and energy. Anyway, moving along here. I have been a console fiend this this holiday season. I decided to really treat myself and picked up a bunch of things. I picked up a Switch. I have that now. Saw my first video on the Switch with Manticore. I have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I've been debating streaming that at some point, and because I don't think I'll do a. I do a Let's Play of it. I don't know. It's open world. It feels like maybe I should just stick to doing a stream of it. I'm thinking more and more about now. I might as well jump topics for a second and get into this. I've been trying to keep the Let's Plays on the channel to be edited things, and that's not working out. It is and it isn't. You know, I've been not able to spend as much time that I need to edit things and get them done, is basically what I'm getting at. And I'm debating now just doing the most basic of edits I can on some stuff. So rather than rather than try to make a proper edited Let's Play out of things, I'm debating whether or not I should just say, all right, I'm going to do an hour video. I'm just going to take the live stream that I've done, and I'm just going to chop it up into, here's an hour here, here's an hour there, here's an hour there, and then put that up. I've been trying to avoid turning the channel into like a dumping ground like that, where I just dump my live streams on there. But it does seem like I've been watching other YouTubers and things, and it does seem like that's actually catching on a little bit. Like, people seem to be okay, relatively okay with that, because it's much easier to find those on YouTube than it is to find them on the streaming services themselves, which is ironic, especially since a lot of the streaming services are removing videos after 20 days or whatever. So whereas YouTube, they just kind of stay there as long as they're good. So I am debating that. I am debating that quite heavily. The big problem has been that when I was recording things just for the YouTubes, I could basically just sort of sit there and I might record for an hour or 90 minutes and then say, okay, this is going to be like 2 episodes, and boom, done, right? So it made the editing a lot, well, maybe not easier, but it made it a little more straightforward, where I could, I didn't have to spend quite so much time editing. Now, when it comes to live streams, I'm doing most of the stuff on live streams now, and well, they last for like 3 hours usually, and having 3 hours of footage constantly puts me well behind, and it makes it so that I feel like I'm never going to get ahead on the editing, or I am going to get ahead on the editing, but it's going to take 20 hours to render all the things, and I still need to get other videos out and all that stuff. So I'm thinking that at least saying, all right, I'm just going to cut it at an hour, and maybe I'll adjust that here and there depending on what's going on, and try to make a little bit of an episode out of it without going full bore on it and trying to remove all the dead air and everything else. Might help a bit. So I'm still going back and forth. I might start doing that. I won't, probably won't do it for Mutant Year Zero because I've already started editing it in the more traditional way that I edit things. But any other sort of Let's Plays that I do that I've done online or something like that, I might do that way. I might even, it would even be, I've been doing a lot of one-offs too, where I just play a game for a little bit, like Minion Masters here, and just play it a little bit, and then that's that. And I feel like people would even like the one-offs. You know, it doesn't have to be a full-blown series. I could probably do like a one-off here and there, you know, or like an occasional Minion Masters or occasional this, occasional that. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe my, you know, rigid structure for Let's Plays and all that, the very rigid structure I've been adhering to, maybe isn't as necessary as it needs to be in order to make something interesting to watch. But we'll see. I can be convinced to do only half-hour episodes if we want, or hour-long ones. I'm kind of thinking hour-long ones because it takes. Because I usually do about 3 hours on the live streams kind of thing. So we'll see. I'm still thinking about it. If I make a decision, you'll know when you start to see when you start to see those videos showing up. At least you'll have an idea as to why they're showing up there, or what my thought process was anyway. So that's kind of where I'm going with that right now. As far as some of the Let's Plays that I had started but haven't finished, I do intend on finishing Wing Commander at some point. I do want to go through the entire series, the entire Wing Commander series at some point, because I love that game. But I also have a few other, what would you call it? A few other older games. I don't want to necessarily call them classic games, but they're older games that I would like to play for the channel as well. But I'm going to do them like I'm doing everything else. I'm going to do a live stream and then probably cut those up. The Wing Commander, I don't think I'll do a live stream on, just because I have to have so much stuff running to get that running. So much overlays and stuff. That one I might still just keep to myself because I know I'm going to fail often in that. I might live stream like the newer ones that I know I can kind of set the difficulty down low on. You know what I mean? Because doing the same thing over and over again on a live stream would just get a little bit frustrating and for me more than anything else. So I'm looking at that. What I'm also looking at, and the other reason why I sort of brought this up and what got me down this path is I have the Switch now. I have some Nintendo games. Nintendo recently came out and said, yeah, we're not going to be bastards about stuff on YouTube anymore, or on Twitch for that matter. And they said, yeah, we're not going to try to take monetization of things or anything else going forward. So now I'm debating whether I should actually start doing Nintendo stuff, because I do have quite a few games I would like to play, and I would like to actually post videos of. One of those was Super Mario RPG. I also have, as I said, I was going on a console run here. I bought a new Xbox 360 because the other one wasn't reading any discs for some reason. I just wouldn't read a disc at all. And so I got a new one, and I was trying to get Test Drive Unlimited to work on it, and it says it's region locked, which is curious since it was region locked to the US. And so was the console. So I don't know why it says it's region locked. I have a feeling, I suspect, that they lost the license for the cars in the game and decided to make the game be completely broken for everybody. so that they wouldn't get in trouble legally for allowing people to still use it or something. That's my the way I suspect that this is happening, because it's not this game. I have the CD and it worked just fine. I had saved games of it and everything, and it's like, no, I can't run on your console. It's region locked, which is BS because I bought it here and it's a US thing. But apparently, and I was not aware of this, I just found it on Amazon. Apparently there was a PC version of the first Test Drive Unlimited. I had looked for it before and I didn't find it, and apparently there is one out there. So I may revisit that on PC, and hopefully it works as well as it did on the console. We'll see. I don't know. I remember there was a debate as to whether or not the PC version was any good versus the console, and I don't know if that ever if that was true or not. So we'll have to see. I have that on order, so we'll see when that comes in, because I really want to play Test Drive Unlimited again, because I remember enjoying the crap out of it when I first played it, and I want to see if I still enjoy it or not. So you know, there was I played a little bit of Forza Horizon 4, and it was okay, but I just wasn't getting into it. Mostly because I wanted to play it on stream, and it just did weird stuff with it. It was like, yeah, no, you have all these like 24-hour streams going where you get, you know, in-game influence and just by watching streams and stuff, and it turned me off to streaming that game. I would love to continue playing it, but I never get time to play anything for myself anymore. As it is, I'm always like, yeah, you know what, let's just go do a stream of this. So I was kind of turned off by how they handled the online stuff for that, for Mixer, for Forza Horizon 4. So that's why I haven't seen any of it, or any more of it anyway, coming up. So that's where I stand on that. The other thing I had on there, I've been streaming Mutant Year Zero. I've been streaming Just Cause 4. Not that great, unfortunately. I won't punish you by putting any videos of that up on the channel, because that's just it's not very good. It feels like it was made by people who didn't know how who never played a Just Cause game. It really does. So I'm hoping to be able to maybe, I don't know, I'm just gonna finish it on stream and then forget it ever existed, and maybe then I will play on stream Just Cause 2, and I'll record that and put that up on the YouTubes, perhaps. Maybe that'll be well, I'll probably have something else besides that, but that might be the second or third test of the let's put this up on YouTube and see how it works kind of thing. So that's what we're going with that. Occasionally, as you can see here, I enjoy me some Minion Masters. I may occasionally do a stream of it, and I might record that and put it on YouTube. I'm actually thinking of streaming this not on Mixer. I tried streaming it on Mixer. There was no interest, which is weird because I've seen Clash Royale on Mixer and there's a lot of interest, but there's no interest at all in this on Mixer apparently. So this might be a thing that I stream like on the weekends for a little bit, a couple hours or whatever, and do it over on the VLive place and see if anybody likes it over there maybe. So we'll see. I'll find an audience for it, and then I might record that and just put it up as a stream, not as a highlight, but like as a stream, VOD. I guess I'll put it up as a VOD on YouTube. Why not? We'll just call it what it is. So those who would normally miss my streams will be able to see what they're all about. They're nothing fantastic. Let's put it that way. You're not missing out on much. So I'll have that. which means I have to get like this stream chat and stuff on there. But we'll figure it out. I got to figure out this whole. I did the laziest layout here that I could possibly do, so I'll figure out a place to put the chat where it doesn't block the screen. But getting back to the Switch, I also want to play, as I said, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I want to stream that. And since Nintendo's being a little more amenable, I am going to try also recording it and putting it up on the YouTubes. So we'll see what happens. I will cross my fingers, I will roll the dice, and I will see if Nintendo is actually didn't lie to people about how they're going to go handle content creators going forward. So we'll see how that works, because I'd hate to have the channel shut down after all this time and effort put into it, all these years. So we'll see. I've also been playing a lot of like alpha games and stuff. Some of them I can't talk about because they are under NDAs. There are a couple big ones in there that I've played that are interesting. I also I bought Atlas, which I'm sure most people know what was going on with that. I will see if I do anything with Atlas. I bought it thinking maybe I'll stream it and things, and I probably still will. Maybe. I'm not sure, honestly, because it seems like the streamers are already over it. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking around to see if there's any streams of Atlas, and yeah, pretty much everybody had their fill of it in the first 2 days, and then they're done. Probably because it's still a broken mess in many respects of that term, and you know, also it's a clone of Ark Survival Evolved. But you know, I might do something there with that. Who knows? Who knows? Stranger things have happened. I still want to get into X4. I've been trying to get into X4. I played a couple times. I actually tried to record like a first impressions of it. I ended up throwing it out because I just was having too much problems. I always have problems starting the X series. Every game in the X series that I've played, and I haven't played X3, which I hear is the best one, Albion Prelude or whatever it was. But every game that I played, I tried the original X. I tried, oh no, X2 was the Albion Prelude, I think. I tried X3 Rebirth or X Rebirth, whatever it was called. I don't know if it was X3 or X whatever. I've tried X4. X4 is, I can see myself getting into it, but it's those first couple of minutes where I just get a little bit frustrated with the game. Enough that I'm like, I gotta come back to this later. And then I never come back to it later. And this is the same thing has happened on every single game in the X franchise. And I just need to kind of clamp down and say, I'm going to do this. I am going to make one of these games click in my brain. And that's the hard part. Like, this game has help or tutorials, but it's like it throws every tutorial in a menu at you, and it's like, here you go, have the tutorials, and it's like, oh. It's like, ugh. And it's not that it's fun. It's okay that, you know, you can skip them and all that stuff, but then like I was playing some of the tutorials, and then it was like stuff wasn't quite working. Like the tutorials were like, if you didn't do everything exactly as they said or exactly at the time that they said to do it in, the tutorial would break, and it was like, this is not working out so well. And sometimes I had to restart the tutorial just because it would be stuck, like the script wouldn't continue forward and things like that. So and there were so many of them. I'm like, and they're not named anything that is helpful, right? It's like I could pretty much figure out the basic controls, right? There's always tutorials about basic controls. I don't give a rat's ass about basic controls. I can figure those out. Just tell me what they are and I'll figure them out. It's the other things like, what do you want me to do? Like, what can I do? What, you know, Let me do an EVA. How do I do EVAs? What does that involve? What does that entail? It's those kinds of things that would be better served if they would just say, we're going to give you quests, because quests are a big thing in this game, right? So it's like, give me a quest, give me a tutorial quest, and say, here's the one type of quest you can do, here's the other type of quest you can do, and just give those to me, and then let me go do them, right? Don't throw things under a different menu and then have a script that I have to follow to the letter, to the T. It's just, you know, there's better ways of doing that. And I always have a problem just getting into it. So I next year, I'm going to try somehow to get into either X4 or Albion Prelude or one of the X games. I'm going to try very hard to actually play it and record, and it's something. I am going to try. It might even be the end of this year. But I wouldn't count on there being a video for it until next year at least. So I'm going to try. I just need to get it in my brain, and I need to somehow figure this game out. You take a day and just be like, I'm not playing anything else. I'm not going to worry about getting videos out. I'm just going to figure this damn thing out and try to get it out there, because it looks like it's a lot of fun. It looks like it would be a ton of fun. It's just, I cannot, all the games in the X series look like they'd be a ton of fun. I just cannot wrap my brain around them to the point where I can get that fun out of the first couple minutes. You know, they kind of always lose me in that first few minutes, and I'm like, yeah, what do I need to do to like this game? Help me like you. Help me love you. Is what I say to that. So that's on my list. Sandbox games. There's a couple of them. I'm actually at a point where I'm like, I would like to do a sandbox game, but I'm not sure which one to do. There's a lot of them on my list. I've tried to start Subnautica. The English language will compel me here. I've tried Subnautica a couple times, and I've been having. It's good. I like it. I've started a new world like 4 or 5 times, and I just feel like I'm missing too much. Like I get in there and I'm like, I can't find resources. I don't know what they look like. Then I know what they look like, but then, you know, they still don't quite stand out enough for me. And then I'm spending tons of time just like, what do I do now? I don't know what to do now. I need resources to do stuff, and I don't have resources to do stuff. And so I've just been struggling with that for some reason. And that's true with a lot of these sandbox games. I've just been kind of struggling to just get my initial footing in them. I like to revisit Realms of Magic. I really enjoyed that. There was no reason. The only reason I stopped doing that was I just was getting tired of doing Let's Plays. So I really want to sit down and do a live stream of that and start a new world and just see how they've been going so far with that. There was a mod for Terraria that I had looked at on the channel at one point in time. I want to see if that has changed at all, if that's continued to be a thing, or if they've stopped using that. As far as vanilla Terraria, I don't really have a desire to do vanilla Terraria. I'll be honest with you, I played it on my own before I had a YouTube presence, and I enjoyed what was there, but I just kind of had enough of it. You know, it just wasn't my thing. And that was before, that was like 1.1 Terraria. That was before they put all this other stuff in there with all the bosses and all that stuff. And now I feel like if I pick it up and I don't do like 5 weeks of research before I do anything in it, then I'll just get murdered by people. They'll be just like, yeah, you don't know anything about this. Like, well, I don't really feel like knowing anything about it. So it feels like you have to sort of study for a test before you can actually play Terraria anymore. And speaking of studying for a test, I've wanted to do Factorio. It's never on sale. It's like 35 bucks now. Was it Factorio that was like 35 bucks? I think it is. Yeah, something like that. And I've been kind of waiting. I've been waiting to see if it actually shows up on like a Humble Monthly. It has not yet, and I just don't want to pay 35 bucks for it because I have a feeling that I'm not going to enjoy it as much as other people enjoy it. It's one of those things where I feel like I'll do. It's one of those things where, you know, I'd probably do it for the channel, but then, you know, as I'm looking at it, I'd be like, yeah, it's not really as great as I wanted it to be. I've been waiting mostly for Satisfactory to come out, which is going to be like the 3D Factorio, and that, to me, if I can get in on the ground level of that, I'd have a lot of fun, I think. But nothing doing yet on that. I don't know when that's going to be a thing, but I'm waiting for it, so I'm keeping my eye on it. And it's one of the many things I've been trying to, you know, may or may not have been looking at alphas for, but there's NDAs and all those other things. The other thing, I think that about covers a lot of ground. I know I ramble a lot, but I don't get a chance to ramble that much anymore. So I feel like I also feel like that's the thing I don't do enough on the live streams is ramble. I know that sounds weird to say, but there's a lot of times I'm sitting on stream and I'm trying to, you know, kill the dead air and stuff, but sometimes it's like, man, I just need a topic right now. I need something to talk about. So I might, especially if I'm going to start putting the live streams up on the channel, I might start rambling a lot more on them. So I have a means to means to an end there. Anyway, I think we've come to the end of the footage I have. And I think I will end this monthly channel update. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and welcome to all the new members of the channel. And hopefully I will see you guys next month for another channel update. So see you, bye.